visual.
Did I?
I think so.
One of the things that I really focused on from the first season to the second was I wanted it to feel like Star Wars. And so I really concerned myself with getting the feel right. Like you're watching it and you forget that it's a cartoon. And you just believe that it's Anakin, it's Obi-Wan, it's Yoda. You believe those are the characters.
Initially with the first series, they originally were supposed to be commercials. Lucasfilm themselves, they decided that they would be a little longer, so they became longer episodes. But we weren't able to tell a lot of the story. It was mostly just action. With the advent of the second series, we actually were able to tell an actual fairly long story, and more like a movie, like an animated movie.
I mean, the thing about doing Star Wars is that it's the story. And the story coming from George, not just something we made up. And now going into this, all of a sudden, it's still Clone Wars, but it's the ending of the Clone Wars.
They wanted us to do more of what we had done because it was so successful, but at the same time, they wanted us to actually do the crawl from the opening of the film. So it became more a real part of Star Wars. We had to show Palpatine being kidnapped. We had to have Anakin and Obi-Wan away from the planet and in the Outer Rim territories.
In our heads, we're already formulating what we want to see. Just by the nature of those few words, there's a big battle above Coruscant. And, you know, remnants of Return of the Jedi and what they pull off Return of the Jedi are still in your head and, you know, all that. So we got that chance to play with the Battle of Coruscant, and we started figuring out that what it is just a big ruse. We actually put that in the cartoon a little bit because we just couldn't wrap our heads around the fact that there'd be this big attack, but the temple is fine and the Senate is fine. So we kind of came up with this whole thing. We have Mace and Yoda discover it.
Strange is the enemy strategy. A massive invasion, but no attempt to take the temple or Senate.
Unless an elaborate distraction.
To hide their primary objective.
Palpatine.
Some of the look evolved very kind of naturally in order, and we got a lot of photographs and reference for what the new vehicles were going to be in episode 3, and they were all hybrids between the TIE fighter, between the X-Wing fighter, and you could tell this is the bridging machinery. So we kind of followed along with that, and we made our clone troopers look similar to stormtroopers, and everything started to kind of fall into place, and everything's starting to look like A New Hope. We wanted to almost treat it like one big 3-hour movie, including Revenge of the Sith and what we did. So we started to enhance all those parts in the movie that maybe you didn't have time for.
You're mine, old man.
We had certain goals in mind that we wanted to hit, like on certain people. We wanted to address the friendship between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Since we know episode 3 is their friendship has the big falling out, this is our last chance to let people know that they're pals.
In episode 2, they were bickering, and you know, you had your big brother, little brother squabbles.
We have a job to do. I don't care. Put the ship down. You will be expelled from the Jedi Order.
In episode 3, the guys show up and they're good pals and they're joking around.
I sense a trap. Next move? Spring the trap.
Of course, in episode 4, old Ben is telling Luke about when he and Luke's dad used to be old pals. You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes. I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
Just those few sentences created such a mystique, you know, in your brain as a kid going, oh man, what was it like when Luke's dad was cool and Ben was young and they were hanging out and swashbuckling around the universe and Clone Wars? What the heck was that about? Not everything needs to be totally explained, but definitely knighthood wanted to be explained. That pinnacle moment in Anakin's evolution.
Anakin Skywalker, by the right of the Council, by the will of the Force, doubly I do, Jedi. Knight of the Republic.
We thought, oh, let's give him the knighthood, but then he's going to have his trials after. And we got excited about that idea, and then we started to structure our story based on that theme. Okay, what situation are we going to put Anakin in that could be like a trial? What George Lucas always says, it's all about mirrors. and kind of like ripples, and the ripples repeat
Excuse me.
themselves. So we wanted to follow that thing where on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back, where Luke steps into the cave and he sees Darth Vader, and whatever vision that gave him.
When Anakin went